Moving on now, U.S. cigarette sales falling to their lowest level since 1951. This coming after a 1998 settlement where tobacco companies agreed to restrict advertising. The settlement called for tobacco companies to pay 46 states an estimated $206 billion over 25 years. But with tobacco sales seriously struggling, is it time to lighten up on cigarette companies and reduce some of those fines and let them all advertise a little more? Gary Nolan says absolutely. Of course, he's with the Smokers Club, so you might expect that. But Patrick Reynolds says we haven't gone far enough in punishing tobacco companies. Patrick's from tobaccofree.org and is also the grandson, surprise, surprise, of R.J. Reynolds. Gary, first to you. Now, you say this war on tobacco has gone too far. Why and how?
Well, first, David, the laws of economics are immutable. If you raise taxes on tobacco products, then people will be spending that money to pay those taxes instead of buying a new refrigerator, or maybe it takes them away from a car payment, then they can't afford to buy a new car. So it hurts the economy in general.
Well, they could quit smoking.
Well, you know, I don't know where the government has the right to force that on people, but at the end of the day, do they quit smoking or do they smuggle cigarettes in? Do they buy tobacco and roll their own? I know a lot of people who've done that to avoid the tax. Do they buy generics so they can get a less expensive cigarette?
All right. Well, Patrick, speaking of rolling, I'm sure your grandfather's rolling in his grave, right? Forgive me for saying so, but this is quite a turnaround for the Reynolds family.
Well, my father, R.J. Reynolds Jr., my oldest brother, died from smoking. My aunt, two of R.J. Reynolds' children died from smoking. And I make a difference doing this work. I've found a path, fighting big tobacco, going against my heritage, that has given my life a real direction, and I make a difference. That's why I do it.
Now, would you actually go so far? Would you go so far as to outlaw cigarettes outright?
No, I wouldn't do that. We've got, tens of millions of people in America addicted to tobacco. Around the world, 1 out of every 3 people alive on the planet that are adult are addicted to smoking because of their marketing efforts in the third world and Asia. You know, for every pack of cigarettes sold, to address my colleague's comments, there is a $2.17 medical cost per pack sold. And higher taxes deter young people from becoming addicted in the first place. Almost nobody after the age of 19, only 1 smoker in 10, will become addicted to cigarettes after 19. So only kids are starting. So those higher taxes on cigarettes do a great deal to keep our kids off of cigarettes. And the states have been raising taxes on tobacco like crazy in the last few years.
Okay, well, let me get a word in sledgewise here. When you raise tobacco taxes, it really doesn't affect children that much, in fact, because they don't buy as much. So 1 pack of cigarettes goes up 50 cents. That pack of cigarettes may last them for a week or several days.
But they get addicted, sir. They're getting addicted.
What it really hurts, let me finish now. You had your opportunity. Who it really hurts are the poor and the middle class. When you raise taxes on the poor and the middle class, they can't afford to buy things that they need for their family. They can't put their kids in private schools if they can't make the payment because they're paying this outrageous tax. And I don't know where it's the government's job to protect me from myself.
All right, gentlemen, we've got some breaking news, so we're going to have to leave it there. Gary Nolan, Patrick Reynolds, thank you both.
Thank you, David.